So I just left you with a bunch of videos about Buenos Aires, I think. A monstrosity of length with that. So yeah, so now I'm going to head into the Brazil videos, and we'll start off where I'm leaving Argentina. One of the first things I had to do before I left in the last week or so was get a yellow fever vaccination, because in Brazil, yellow fever can be an issue in certain areas, and I wasn't sure if they would allow me entry if I didn't have it, so I got that. That was cool, or not cool, but necessary. And then the other thing that I had to do was I had to get a Brazil visa, because unlike Argentina and Peru and all these other countries where you can just enter with your passport, Brazil required an actual visa to be purchased in advance, so I had to get that, and that was okay as well. So anyway, in Argentina, the night before I left, I was packing everything up and trying to clean the apartment, and I had to throw a lot of stuff away because my car was in Uruguay, as I said, so I had to take the ferry to get there, and I had to carry all my bags, so I couldn't bring absolutely everything that I had. I managed to bring my guitar, which was cool, and everything else that I could, my rollerblades, whatever, my computers, my electronics, some clothes, but I had to leave some clothes behind. Mostly trash, but some things I was I didn't want to leave that behind. But whatever, not a big deal. So it was super late night, because of course I always leave everything last minute. Get up the next day with hardly any sleep. And it's boiling hot, super beautiful sunny day in Buenos Aires. My landlord comes to get me, and fortunately he gives me a ride to the subway station, so I'm carrying these massive bags, and I enter the subway. It's super, super hot. I'm sweaty. Get down to where the ferry is, and get on the ferry. Everything's fine. I'm on time. Everything's good on the ferry. I'm on my way to Uruguay. So I get to Uruguay as is scheduled, and the people who own the place, the farm where my car is parked, they pick me up. And but it was complicated because they also do horse riding tours. So they were doing one of these. So we had to go to downtown Colonia, and we had to meet up with these American tourists who they were going to go on this horse riding trip with, part of their business, at their farm. So we met up with them, those people from New Jersey. It was interesting to chat with them a bit, first sort of Americans I'd talked to in a while. But on the way to the farm, it was great because there was no room for me, so I was in the back of this pickup truck, driving through Uruguayan countryside, and it was so beautiful, blue sky, so green, so open. Uruguay's gorgeous, green fields, just everything perfect. I don't have any video. I should have totally got a video of that, but I don't. Just a photo. So we get to the farm, get in my car, and get on the way to Montevideo, which is the big city in Uruguay. And beautiful blue sky all the way there. So I get to Montevideo, and right away I go to a car shop, because before this trip I wanted to make sure my car was okay, oil change, check everything out. So I had scheduled an appointment, so I dropped my car off there, take one bag, and walk all the way down to the hotel downtown. There's some pretty cool buildings and architecture en route. It was a gorgeous day, so I took some photos of that. So I get to the hotel, and it's quite central in the downtown, and that night I think I just go out and get some food, whatever, nothing major. But the next day in Montevideo, I first of all went down to this big plaza square that they have, and it's awesome. And there's one building that's not I think, I don't know, maybe intentional, maybe not, but it's this big face of just all these awesome windows that I don't know, some people might think it's really ugly, but I thought it looked really cool. And then there was this classic Buenos Aires style architecture building as well. And just a cool little plaza there. And then I kept walking, and I headed down to the beach, and then I got to this Parque Rodo, and there was this statue of this guy, and he had bird shit on his head. The statue, it was just a face, but his face was so, how can I say, unpleasant. It wasn't a stoic statue or a smiling statue. It was this harsh, frowning statue. I was just obsessed with it. It was sort of sunset. I was I have to take a photo of this. So yeah, I did that, and then I met up with this girl from online or whatever, and so she kind of gave me a little tour of the area. We went by this fairground. There ended up being an African drumming thing that we saw or whatever. So one thing about Montevideo, way more African than Buenos Aires and Argentina. Buenos Aires and Argentina, hardly any black people at all. Some people from Senegal who've come to sell sunglasses, but hardly anybody. But in Uruguay, you can feel a lot more of that sort of African influence. Not like Brazil, but much more than Argentina. So that was cool, some African percussion type, festival type stuff. And then the next day, I tried to get the car to go on my trip, and the guy said, "Yeah, it's ready," and he'd change the spark plugs. And as I was driving away from the shop, the car started started shaking and doing all this really weird stuff. So I was damn it, parked the car, ran back to the shop before he could close it, because it was a weekend day, and normally he's not open that day, and said, "Yo, dude, what's up with my car?" So then he took it back and said, "Well, it'll take an extra day." So I just stayed an extra day. And that day I went to this Parque Batle or something like this. It has a track. And I went down to the beach and went swimming that day. It was a big giant Montevideo sign. And yeah, I got back to the hotel, and the next day I picked the car up. It was functioning okay. But as I was driving to my next spot, which would have been Punta del Este, or the camping spot near there, as I was approaching, like, I think just up to 100 kilometers an hour with the car, as I was approaching it, it like felt weird, like it wasn't changing gears. And when I finally crossed over 100 kilometers an hour, the car like literally like lurched and like pulled to the side, and I was like, holy, like I'd never seen the car do that before. I was like, oh shit. So for the next few days I was really scared, like maybe the spark plugs or something wasn't firing right, and the transmission, I don't know. But it was like this one time thing, I was like, oh my god. But it turned out to be okay in the end. So anyway, so I got to this camping San Rafael, just outside of Punta del Este. Punta del Este is like a super tourist zone in Uruguay. Uruguay in general is super touristy, like everything's super expensive there, particularly in the summer. Like camping was like $15 US, which is ridiculous in South America. Like camping in South America does not cost $15 US, but Uruguay is very expensive that time of year next to Punta del Este. That day was kind of gray by the time I arrived, so went to this little city, village I guess you could say, near camping San Rafael, away from Punta del Este. I walked there over this cool like sort of car bridge that goes like this, and like these cars like go up and over. It just kind of looks interesting. But then La Barra essentially was like Tofino, but like more like yuppie Tofino, like super rich families vacation zone. And it was a great day, so it wasn't that beautiful, but it was just a weird vibe to be there. And then went back to the camping, and the next day took a bus down to Punta del Este. I didn't want to bring my car. I was like, figure we'll work it with the bus. So I got down with the bus. Super hot, gorgeous day, like super hot. Swimming, some cool graffiti, nice little like religious structure on the beach or whatever. And like Punta del Este is like super fucking touristy. Like it's like giant skyscrapers on the beach, and you just feel like it's like total tourist destination. I don't know how many people actually live there who are residents, but like major tourist destination for rich people. So maybe not so much my zone, but it was a beautiful day, great, super hot. Took the bus back to the hotel around sunset time. Not hotel, the camping, around sunset time. Went to bed, and then the next day went up to camping San Rafael, which is a national park, Santa Teresa, sorry, not San Rafael. I was at San Rafael. Went to Santa Teresa National Park, which is a giant place where you can camp, a little bit further north in Uruguay before the Brazilian border. And Martin, the son of IH in Argentina, had told me, you gotta check this place out, it's awesome. So I get there, and again, quite expensive to camp, but it's a massive national park. I was driving around at the start trying to find a cool place to camp, set up my tent, and I ran into like a deer. But yeah, lots of people there. Went down to the ocean, and then was like walking up by this fort area. And then later on at night I was kind of like wandering around, and it had this weird like vibe of like, I was probably tired or whatever. It was like this weird vibe of like Lollapalooza, which I've never been to, but like the 90s festival music situation combined with like Camp Grafton. It was this weird like surreal kind of space I was in my head. I was kind of lost for a bit, so I was kind of like, what the heck? But it had like this awesome sunset that I saw from the fort that had like this kind of like African, how I imagine African sunset type vibe over a long sort of like jungly plain. But anyway, that was fine. Managed to find my tent after getting lost. Went to bed, and the next day I'd be heading on to Brazil. So Uruguay for you.